we struggle today to work through conflict. And I think organizational leaders struggle to help mediate conflict when, when there's a lot of personalities. And today, in today's world in particular, we have, there's just, it can be a very politically charged atmosphere, whether we like it or not. It is what it is.
Yes.
I suspect there's probably some lessons that you learned being confined to, this is the team we have. We're going underway. We're going under the water for 4.5 months. We may not love each other. We may not even like each other some days, but we have to work together no matter what. There is no, well, what if we don't? Well, we have to. I wonder if you can impart some knowledge or some lessons about how you kept people focused on a task, how you worked through conflict, that kind of thing. What did you take from that time when you're in a confined space and there was no other option except to be focused on the mission? How did you guys make that work?
ROTC, you take leadership as a course. It's an actual course. And one of the things you learn there is a very famous phrase, you praise in public and reprimand in private. So my very first week on the boat, we got underway, and there was fog. And I was the electronics material officer, which meant I was in charge of the radar operation. And I had one first class ET, electronic technician, under me. And for people that don't know, first class is like an E6. So, the captain called down from the bridge before we got underway. Is the radar operational? I said, let me check with my band. So I called first class. I said, is the radar operational? Yes, sir, it is. So I called up to the captain. So we got on our way, and just no sooner we got on our way, this thick fog came in. And the only way you could navigate, you couldn't see any of the landmarks, through the scope, but dead reckon. So you had to do it through the radar. It was water towers and church steeples, you could pick those up.
Yeah.
Well, right in the middle of a very complex part of Charleston Harbor, the radar conked out. So the captain navigated through that. I mean, we had lookouts looking at buoy numbers and all that, and red right returning, and we knew how to get through the channel, but it was very tricky because there was ebb currents, ocean was coming in. It was very tricky. Anyway, we no sooner got out to sea, the captain called me in the stateroom and chewed my, up and down. And I'm thinking, I've only been on board a week, So
welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to your career.
I called a first classman ET into my stateroom, and I said, now look, I'm not going to get into a shouting contest with you. Okay, you use the different words, Yeah. And I just want to know what happened. You told me it was operational. What happened? He said, I don't know. I said, did you do your PMs? He said, no, I didn't do it. I said, why in the heck didn't you do your PMs? They're
preventative maintenance.
Oh, that's easy to do, He said, well, I just figured we didn't need to do them. So I told him right then and there, I said, look, I'm not going to get into a shouting contest with you, but your job is to make sure that thing is working. I said, if you screw up like this again, I will personally make sure you never make chief. You got it? I sign your fitness report, and I'm going to personally make sure you never make chief. So, do you have any answer to that? He said, no, sir. You got it. He wouldn't talk to me for 3 days, but you know what? He did make chief, and he invited me to his wedding down party. I personally gave him a excellent fitness report because he turned around and really got, turned to and got to it. Another division I had, it was electrical division. There was 3 first-class petty officers in that division, and they were all fighting for leadership. So that was it. It was the worst morale. The division on the boat where it had the worst morale.
Yeah.
So the captain gave that
3 guys fighting for one promotion spot.
One promotion spot.
Yeah.
So I assessed that right away. So I called all 3 of them into the wardroom. I said, look, my job is to help all 3 of you guys make chief. Okay. And here's what we're going to do. You're going to take PMS for 1 month. You're going to take, instruction for lower petty officers for 1 month. I can't remember the third thing. But I said, after 6 months, we're going to rotate. And all 3 of you are going to get exposure. Okay. And if you do a good job, I will personally write you a good fitness report. So all 3 of them made chief. One while I was still in, I got to go to his wedding down party. The other two after I left, but they, they really turned to again and buckled down and did their job. So the thing I think the bottom line of this is you treat people like people. You treat people with respect. Just because you're an officer doesn't mean you know everything. Matter of fact, you don't know anything. If you're a smart officer, you listen to your listen men who know what they're doing, and you listen to what they say, and you take that as part of your calculation. Okay, you don't take everything they say, but it's part of what you take in order to make a decision.